Okay, in this first video, I am going to do out the notes. However, you're going to notice that the top section, A through H, is all review based on the notes that we did on day one. So what I'm going to ask you to do in a moment is to pause the video, do problems A through H on your own, and then when you are finished completing them and think you have done them all correctly, you can unpause the video and check your answers. If for some reason you got any of them wrong and you can't find your mistake, the second video will have me doing out those examples for you to follow along and correct accordingly. Okay, so please go ahead, pause the video now, take a few minutes, get through A through H, and then put the video back on when you're ready to check your answers. All right, so here we are with all of the answers for A through H. Please go ahead now again and pause the video while you go through and check your answers. Again, I will repeat what I said before. If you got any of these wrong and you can't find your mistake, you can then go ahead and watch video 2. If you have gotten them all correctly, then you can move on and go down and take on the rest of the notes, and you will do them as I do them with you. Okay, something else that you probably have already learned about radicals is that it is not possible to leave radicals in the denominator in a final answer. And so what you learned when you did radicals the first time is a process called rationalizing. And rationalizing is going to be a method that we are going to do in terms of multiplying by a 1 that will enable us to get an equivalent answer just without a radical in the denominator. So there is a property at the top that I will come back to in a minute. I'm going to go down here to this first example. 1 over root 3 is simplified. That's as far as that can go. However, it's not an acceptable way to leave my final answer. So I'm going to do what is called rationalizing, and I am going to multiply the top and bottom of my fraction by whatever this radical is in the denominator. Now it is just the radical that I need to multiply by. So if there's any other values in front, like coefficients, like a 2, you would not be multiplying by 2, and I will be looking for that. So we're going to just simply multiply by root 3 over root 3. Notice when you multiply, that is technically just 1, so you're not changing the value of the expression. And so now when I multiply straight across, 1 times root 3 is root 3, and root 3 times root 3, of course, is 3, because that is root 9, and we have a pair of 3's that can come out. So now as I go over to letter J, there's that property up above, which says that if you have one big square root and a fraction underneath that square root, it is equivalent to looking at the two separate pieces in separate square roots. So this right here is equivalent to root 3 over root 5. Now it's not necessary to rewrite it, but if you'd like it to be separated, it makes it a little easier to see. Now I'm going to take that and I am going to rationalize. This time we're going to multiply top and bottom by whatever this radical is in the bottom. This way, when I multiply these two things together, I get the square root of 25, which of course is just 5. Out comes the radical in the denominator. And in the numerator, we would get root 15 over 5. Again, you did not need to separate it. You could have went right back up here and multiplied to start and got the same answer. So whatever way you prefer is fine. Last one on this side before we flip over is K. And this is going to be really important. Something else that I'm looking for, I am going to be looking that you always reduce first. Okay, so no simplifying, kind of like with the multiplication where I want you to multiply first and then simplify once. I don't want to have to simplify here potentially 3 times, so I'm always going to reduce first. Remember, what I have there is equivalent to one big fraction. And so I can cancel the 24 and the 28, and they're both divisible by 4, and I can make that radical 6 over 7, which is the same thing as radical 6 over radical 7. So what that means is back here, because they're both underneath a radical, I can reduce them right there and get to the same step. Now I'm ready to rationalize, so I'm going to multiply by root 7 over root 7. Final answer is going to be root 42 over 7. Make sure that that 42 can't be broken down any further, but I know it can't because 6 was 2 times 3, and then that times 7, there's no pairs that can come out. All right, to the next side. A couple more as I look at letter L, similar to letter G on the front. I'm going to take a look at this, and I'm almost going to make them all their own individual fractions keeping a close eye on what is in a radical and what isn't. That's a common mistake students will make. So notice this middle one I specifically wrote as root 3 over root 10. So now what you can do is a couple things. You can do all kinds of cross canceling. You can multiply straight across together first. I would just not get the larger numbers. So what I mean by that is if you do want to multiply first, you can just squeeze it together like this, or squeeze it together as 5 root 16 and then cancel. Anything on the outside can get canceled. The 5 and the 20 can get reduced. 1 and 4. Anything on the inside can get reduced as well. So the 6 and the 10 can reduce, which can both be divided by 2. So it's going to give me a root 3. That's going to give me a root 5. So same idea, I could have done that over here. 5 and 20, and then 6 and 10. At this point, when I continue, I'm going to get root 3 times root 3 is just 3, and then over 4 root 5. And then this brings back a comment from the front. I can't stop there because I have this radical in the denominator. With this radical, I want to rationalize, and I am only going to rationalize by root 5 over root 5. I am not going to rationalize by 4 root 5 over 4 root 5. I'm going to always be looking that you're multiplying by the very least thing possible. Otherwise, you're going to have to reduce when you're done. And there's our final answer, 3 root 5 over 20. On to letter M. If I'm saying the same idea that I want to reduce first, notice the 5 and the 15, both inside a radical, because it's technically one big radical. I am allowed to reduce. I just don't tend to rewrite it that way. So this would become a 1, this would become a 3, and then I can cancel, oops, not the x. Let me erase that. I can cancel 1y here with 1y here and make that 2y's in the numerator, and then nothing on the outside. So I'm right now 4 square root y squared over 5 root 3x. So I look to reduce first. Then I take the radical next, because sometimes when you take the radical, you never even have to rationalize. In this case, I'm going to have to, but every now and then the denominator will simplify enough that our last step, which would be rationalizing, doesn't even need to be done. So try to remember this little procedure here. Reduce, then take the root, then rationalize at the last step if you need to. So in this case, the only root I can take is in the top. That y will come out evenly, and I will get 4y over 5 times root 3x, and then I need to rationalize. Notice again, I'm only going to multiply by root 3x over root 3x, not by the 5. Top just gets squeezed because 4y is outside of a radical, and then in the bottom, root 3x times root 3x is 3x, and multiply by that 5 in front, you get 15x. Do a quick double check at the end to make sure nothing can simplify further. And in this case, it can't, so that is our final answer. And lastly, letter N. If I'm going to follow those steps in the top left again, I'm going to look to reduce. So the 10 and the 60 reduce to 1 and 6. And then I can cancel 1y here with 1y here. So notice I've canceled everything in the numerator. I am left with just 12x cubed y. And then in the denominator, I have the square root of 6x to the 4th y. Then I'm going to take the radical. I was hoping it would all be a nice perfect square, which some of you might have seen that it was if I didn't cancel the y. So if you didn't cancel the y accordingly because of that, that's fine. If you're going to have to rationalize anyways, it doesn't matter. And so, not multiplying yet, that's going to be equivalent to 12x cubed y over x squared, the square root of 6y, and then I can go ahead and rationalize that. Multiply by root 6y over root 6y. 12x cubed y root 6y over 6x squared y. And notice I do have some simplifying I have to do, similar to what I had commented on the previous one. I need to reduce the 12 and the 6, the x squared with 2 of them up here, and 1y here with 1y here. Our final answer, 2x root 6y. All right, so that's all division, and specifically division when there's a single term or a monomial in the denominator. And so the next question is, what if there is a binomial in the denominator? So notice in the next 3 examples, there's 2 terms in the denominator. So if I was to come down here real quick, don't copy this down. If I was to just multiply by root 2 over root 2, the top would become 6 root 2. The bottom I would have to distribute, and I would get 2, but then I get minus 4 root 2. And I don't get rid of the radical in the denominator. Also remember, you can't cancel terms. You can only cancel factors. And so therefore, when you have a binomial in the denominator, it's not going to quite work the same way as when there is a monomial in the denominator. So let me just erase this here, and we'll go back up to this line. If you think about what you did on letter H on the front, you actually had a difference of squares. And so that's actually what we're going to be looking for. So go ahead and write that down. Difference of squares. So we're going to have a plus b, a minus b, and that of course is a squared minus b squared. And so if we do that, that's going to enable me to get rid of both radicals because I'm going to square both sides. So if you have this and you change it and multiply it by this second thing here is what we call a conjugate. Okay? A conjugate is when what you multiply by in the numerator and denominator is what creates a difference of squares. So the terms will be the same, but the sign in the middle would be different. So let me come back over here and think about this problem. If I put this in a parenthesis and this was a minus b, and I want to multiply by what would create a perfect square, I'd want it to be a plus b. So I'm going to keep the root 2 in the 4, and I'm only going to change the sign in the middle. Because then recall that if I was to FOIL that out, it would give me a squared minus b squared. Root 2 times root 2 is 2. This would be plus 4 root 2. This would be minus 4 root 2, so it would cancel. And then this would be negative 16. There's that a squared minus b squared shortcut. Make sure you know too that what you do in the top you have to do in the bottom or vice versa because you need to multiply by a factor of 1. So this would give me 6 root 2 plus 24. So here's what I have right now. 6 root 2 plus 24 all over negative 14. So a couple things with this. First, I need to think about, is there any like things that I can get rid of? Do I have a GCF that I can cancel? And if I look at the top, I can actually factor out that 6. And so what I'm thinking is maybe I shouldn't have even distributed here because now that I factor that 6 out, I can do some canceling because I'm canceling what are called factors, not terms. So you need to find that and make sure that you cancel that. Now I can go ahead and distribute that 3 back in, and you're going to notice that none of those 3 things have like terms in common or like factors in common. If you don't want to factor the 6 out, take a look at this fraction here and see if every single term has something in common. And I do notice that every single term does have a 2 in common that I can divide out, and if I divide them all out by 2, I get this answer here. Now, second thing off to the right, it says to be completely reduced, we don't leave a negative in the denominator. And so you're either going to want to move the negative out in front, and you'd have to make sure it's clearly in front of that division bar, or what I would prefer to see you do is actually just divide everything by negative 1 and move that negative into the numerator so you don't get that incorrect. So this would probably be the final answer that I would prefer to see. All right, so let me do one more with you, and I'll have you try Q on your own. To make this a difference of squares, the conjugate would be root 5 minus root 2. And so I get root 5 minus root 2 because I want to multiply by a factor of 1. I'm going to hold off on distributing. I'm going to just squeeze the numerator together. The bottom is that a squared minus b squared pattern. So a squared would be 5 minus b squared would be 2. And so now that simplifies to 3, and you actually can see that cancels nicely. The 3 and the 6 reduce to 2, and then just make sure you distribute to get your final answer. 2 root 5 minus 2 root 2. Okay, so with those 2 examples there, I'm going to ask you to pause the video and go ahead and give this one a try. When you're done, you can unpause the video and see if you did it correctly. Okay, here's our final answer, and I do have some work there for you to look at if you need help. Do notice that I did have to FOIL out the numerator. It wasn't just a nice single coefficient in front that I could wait to distribute. All right, and last but not least, I can come down here and do solving. So when we are solving, we're now going to be looking for all possible answers for x, not just what it was called the principal root or the positive answer. So if you take a look at r, I'm going to bring this back to last chapter. You might remember that we could get everything on one side equal to 0, and then we could factor to solve. Unfortunately, not everything is going to be factorable. So we'll get our two answers here. If it can factor, great, but if not, then we're actually going to use radicals to do this. Taking a look why we get those two answers, because of course negative 2 squared is 4 and 2 squared is 4. So I want both answers. So let's go back to the top and let's do this with what is called the square root property. In order to undo a square, you need to take the square root of both sides. Now in Algebra 1, you were probably taught that when you take the square root of both sides, you're going right away to x is equal to, and the minute that you take the square root of both sides, you just put a plus or minus in front. Every single time. Square root both sides, put plus minus. Well, now we're going to take it a little step further, and you're going to show another step that is going to be required. And that step is, now that I taught you this even, odd idea, take a look at what we have here. We have an even exponent, an even index, and I'm taking out x to the first power. So out comes an odd. So we have our even, odd pattern. We need to put this in absolute value bars. And then, of course, the right side is 2. Now, thinking back to our Algebra 1 review, we can break the bars down by creating our two cases. That's why you have to put the plus minus, and that's why we have to use the absolute value bars, because of that even, odd pattern. So again, I'm going to be looking for this step. So make sure if you are ahead of me in the video that you go back and add that step in. All right, so let's take a look at S. Now that the x squared is not isolated, that's going to be your first step all the time. So I'm going to add 96. Then I'm going to divide by 4. Now I am isolated. I'm ready to undo the square by taking the square root of both sides. I've got my even comes out odd, must be in absolute value bars. And then I'm going to just bring down that root 24, although it is perfectly fine if you simplify that root 24 at the same time. Now I'm ready to break it into my two cases. X equals the positive root 24, which I'm going to simplify first. 4 times 6, that's going to be 2 root 6. And x equals the negative root 24, or negative 2 root 6. It is completely fine to go right from here to x equals plus or minus 2 root 6 as well, but I must see this step here. And last but not least, I now have multiple terms I have to get together. I'm going to add the 16x squared to the left side. I'm going to subtract the 3 to the right. Last step to isolate, I will divide by 6, which is going to give me 1/2. Square root both sides, absolute value because of even, odd. And then this is the square root of 1/2. Or again, you can simplify that first. And then I will get x equals plus or minus. And remember, I can't leave my answer that way. I need to rationalize. So we will get root 2 over 2. All right, please keep track of any questions that you have. And then you can ask next class. Homework is going to be Radicals Sheet 2. So make sure you look for that on Classroom. Have a great rest of your day.